Tuesday, May 19th, and the agenda has been circulated to all members electronically. And are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Just one addition to the agenda. I think we would like to add in the budget and approval of the budget in there. I think that should go maybe in between old business, new business, and taxation.
Very good. Thank you very much. Are there any other additions or deletions to the budget? We have added the
agenda.
I'm sorry, to the agenda. My apologies. We've added that item, the budget item, to the agenda. It will be after old business. Are there any other additions or deletions? Hearing none, can we have a motion to approve the agenda with that noted addition? Moved by Councillor McGinn, seconded by Councillor McNeil, I believe. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded?
Aye.
The motion is carried. The agenda is approved. So our first item up for business at council tonight, we have the Payne Cape Breton Food Hub. We have Alicia Lake and Jim Mustard here. Alicia is the Executive Director of the Cape Breton Food Hub. She has a presentation she's going to take us through. And Mr. Councillor Mustard, welcome to Victoria County Council, and he is also available for any questions or comments after the presentation. So Alicia, if you want to start your presentation, please do so.
Great, thank you very much, Bruce. I'm going to share my screen here. You guys can let me know when I have it shared properly. Working?
Yep.
We're good.
Yep. Okay, great. So once again, coming back to Victoria County Council to give you an update on the Cape Breton Food Hub's progress. This is definitely a different type of year where we're all virtual and all online. I'm really struggling with this format because I love people so much and I love being in there talking to you guys. So if I speak too quickly or whatever, get me back on track. Somebody, I can see Bruce, so you can give me a thumbs down or a speed it up or something. Excellent. So the Cape Breton Food Hub has been operating since 2015. We have a very strong presence here in Victoria County. We have 7 producers in our county that sell through the Food Hub. So these would include Victoria Co-op Fisheries, which is one of the largest employers in our county, and also some of the small farms in like the North Shore area. Gunnedan Farm right here in Bedeque that everyone knows that does their lovely microgreens and beef and honey. Also over in Paul's district, we have a new farming family that also does baked goods, so Rising Moon Bakery. So we have a really good variety of producers doing a lot of really neat products. We have 2 locations where producers in Victoria County can drop their products off. So here in Bedeque and also up in Neils Harbor. And between them, our location for consumers to pick up in Bedeque and our other location north of Smoky, which is in Ingonish, we have about 75 households that purchase through the Food Hub. In the summer on a weekly basis, through this winter, it's been monthly, but we'll be moving into that weekly season coming up. And I think one of the really strong things that we've been able to do in Victoria County is to work with restaurants. So here in our county, we have some restaurants that are really trying to lead the way, establishing themselves as culinary destinations, really focusing on local food, on organic food, on showcasing what is traditional here, and really, engaging with telling our story through food. So as everyone knows, the Bite House, which is kind of a famous restaurant, they've been buying from us lots, even over this winter. Also, the Telegraph House in Bedeque is one of our large shoppers. Periwinkle Cafe, Danina's, Iona Heights. So a lot of restaurants that are really taking advantage of our service, because with us, they can order directly through the Food Hub and have it delivered right to their restaurant. They can order from the 40-some producers that we have across the island and get it all shipped there. So very, very simple way for them to buy locally. So just want to talk a little bit about some of our impacts that are more traditional. So our kind of metrics. I don't know if you guys can see entirely my screen or if you just see the slides that I see. I never know. So I'm going to move my Zoom over there in case it's just my actual screen I'm sharing. So with our on-farm jobs over the last 2 years, we know that 10 farms have hired staff because of the extra sales that they've had just through the food hub. Our food hub itself has 2 full-time staff, so myself, and then last summer we were able to recruit a young woman from Toronto to, her mom lives here in Victoria County, so she was working at a big food hub, like a multi-million-dollar massive food hub in Toronto, and moved here to be our assistant manager. So that's exciting. She is living with her mom at the time being on the North Shore, but looking to settle down here and buy her own home. So we're happy to welcome her to Victoria County. And then we also have seasonal food hub staff that come on in the summer. And then our delivery company also was able to hire staff because of the extra demand that we're creating through the food hub. So we know that we've created about 15 jobs since we've started, and that's really exciting and expected to grow also. Each year our sales continue to increase. I'm going to talk a little bit later on about COVID and what that's meant for sales, but every year we know we're working in the right direction. But I think that what's more important is that the impacts that we're having are really widespread, really touch on a lot of different points. So we know that when you shop locally, you're reducing carbon footprint, you're increasing food sovereignty, you're promoting sustainable farming, and doing all kinds of things that are really great for the environment. So we know that the Food Hub encourages a whole bunch of environmental factors and health factors. We know that people are eating healthier, they have access to fresher food that travels less distance, which means it's more nutritious, and they're cooking more. So we know that also contributes to a healthy lifestyle. We do a lot of programs to work with people that are living in poverty to help them afford healthy food. We do a lot of education, a lot of food skilling. So we know that we are working in this poverty reduction area also. And then we have a lot of work that we do in the community, just building volunteers and helping people kind of build capacity. And of course with tourism, as I talked about before, of course that's the multi-million-dollar question this year of how we will do with tourism. But these culinary experiences are just really, really important to kind of make sure that people really know what is available in a region, and it's the way that a lot of people explore regions when they travel is by the food. So we know that we're doing a lot of work in that area, and we continue to do a lot of work in that area. Last year we did a Cabot Trail food truck rally that a lot of you guys, I think, attended. And we did that at the very end of the season, like in October when it was freezing. I think it actually snowed one morning. But we had people from as far away as Toronto that came here just for a food truck rally in Cape Breton. And we had people from across Nova Scotia and New Brunswick who had never ever been to Cape Breton before and just came for our food truck rally. So there's always a lot of exciting kind of new ideas that we have percolating working on this. But at the end of the day, for us, it's really about making that connection to help people buy local food, and that keeps money in our economy. It keeps us from sending money out the door to other parts of the world, and it keeps jobs here, and it keeps people here. So these are kind of our primary focus impacts that we're always working on simultaneously. So a lot of balls in the air. So I just want to talk a little bit about COVID-19 and how that's kind of impacted us. You guys have probably heard on the radio about people running out of local food. So right now, every chicken producer in Cape Breton is really out of stock. There's really nothing left, and there won't be until probably the end of June. A lot of the beef producers have also run out of product. And I think really what happened is that in the first couple of weeks of COVID, we did have some shortages in the grocery stores. And also we heard all these stories about things that were happening at huge processing facilities that do, thousands of animals per day. They have thousands of staff, and people just started to think about, where does my food come from, and why is it so complicated? Why is there this extremely complicated food chain that ends up getting food to us in these very difficult ways, and sometimes ways that, you know, kind of don't make sense. So I think that a lot of people just started thinking more about food and really turned to local producers. So we were able to partner with the Cape Breton Farmers Market, which meant taking on a lot of their regular people that typically sell just through them. And then we took on a lot of their consumers also. We also decided to do home delivery. So for our once a month deliveries in Badek and also in Ganesh, that also became home delivery. So like the 2 times that we've done this so far, we ended up covering, I think, 10,000 square kilometers of Cape Breton. So like all the way up to Dingwall, Cape North, over Shetty Camp, Inverness, Iona, Christmas Island, Boysdale. Like you can imagine, like we had volunteers driving food everywhere, and doing no contact delivery. So dropping them at the door, ring the doorbell and leave, which was really, really appreciated by a lot of people. And then we were able to get some funding to help families who've lost their jobs due to COVID to access local food. So here in Victoria County, it was 3 families north of Smoky that asked for the assistance. So they were able to get a really large grocery order last month, and they'll be able to get another really large order this month just to kind of stock up on items and get through. So, and that was, you know, it was interesting, you know, some of the people, not necessarily in Victoria County, but some of the people that were applying for help through this program, which just gives them basically a credit, like a promo code, so they can order whatever they want, and then it just takes money off their account. So yeah, it was interesting. The people that were applying, like a lot of them are business owners, and you know, there's just no programs available for them. So it was really, really challenging for us. We really hope that we can pull together more funding and try to do more, because you know, we think that in a lot of areas we probably haven't seen the worst of the COVID layoffs and job interruptions that are going to happen. So so we're kind of always working on that, and then at the same time knowing that, you know, our food producers that are here definitely are trying to stay in business. We've been helping a lot of restaurants sell food through the Food Hub, so selling like casseroles, soups, that type of thing. And we're talking to a lot of restaurants that should be open this summer that really don't know what they're going to do, and they're talking about potentially selling those kind of ready-made types of meals also, because they really need some type of a market if they're going to stay in business. So it's been somewhat successful with a few of the restaurants that we're helping. They are selling quite a bit. One of our guys in Sydney said it's really like it's what do you say, it brought back his weekend, you know, where he actually had some good sales for once. So yeah, so it's all moving in a direction. Certainly, yeah, a lot of challenges, and you know, but also I think good that people are starting to question where their food comes from and think about how we really do need to have a more secure local food system here, so that we're resilient to no matter what happens, whether it's, you know, issues like a pandemic, or it could be just global climate change, or you know, disruptions in getting food here, which we've seen with the railway shutdown, for an example. So so anyway, definitely always bad when you're right, but we are. So we need a stronger food system. So this is a lovely picture of one of our household consumers that got an order out of our Badek office, and this one I think was shipped up to near Port Hawkesbury. So you can see that even in the middle of the winter here, we still have a great selection of products. These are microgreens that are coming right out of Badek here, and I think this could be Highland beef, or it might be just regular beef, but you can see cabbages and coffee and eggs. So still a lot of great products even in the winter, and a lot of great people in Cape Breton that are doing great work just keeping us fed. So that's all I have for a presentation, but I would love some questions, and I can, well, maybe I can leave this on.
If you could take that down so I can see who's asking the questions. There, perfect.
There we go.
Great. So thank you very much for your presentation. Glad to hear that things are going well for the Food Hub. Are there any questions? Just easy if you would just put your hand up. I can see almost everybody. So if we have any questions for Alicia, please. Perla, Councillor McLeod.
Hi, Alicia. I have just a question. With this COVID-19 that you're saying about the meat and the poultry, maybe it's the demand. Do you think food hub could help for right now for the local fisheries, like more lobster, more fish to delivery? Do you have any?
Yeah.
To help the locals.
Yeah, so we do sell product from Victoria Co-op Fishery, which is frozen, like cooked and frozen. Mike Kellaway, our MP, had a discussion with me last week asking if we could potentially sell live lobsters through the food hub. I don't know that we have the equipment to do that, like as far as keeping the temperatures right for the live. So I said, I think it's like part of a bigger discussion we're going to have. But I think that for sure we could do something where we could sell it through our software and then maybe the fishers could deliver it or something like that. I'm just not sure that we would have the capacity to keep those live lobsters at the right temperature throughout the cycle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm concerned about that. But definitely something that we're talking about. And I think if we could do something where either it was our software or if we could help LFA 27 maybe get software set up and like start selling online and doing delivery, I think it makes a lot of sense, because I think that definitely, like I heard Meryl saying earlier, that people definitely still want to be buying lobster, but they can't really be going down to the wharfs.
Exactly,
so
and that way we can help the locals fishermen to have, it's a living, so they can have some profits of that.
Yeah, so maybe,
and I appreciate the county, if there's something that people will support them, and of course we will sell it.
Yeah, I think what we should do is, I think that we should have some meetings and like just kind of maybe put together a small committee that can like look at, okay, so where's that transportation gonna happen, and like what is the safety, like the food safety around transporting those lobsters if they are live, or alternatively, is there a place to cook them and then sell cooked lobster? I don't know, but I think those are two different things that we really need to look at, because again, it is that transportation and maintaining a cold chain from the time they're fished until they deliver, are delivered, I think is really crucial. And I'm not sure that we have the capacity to do it in our system, but I definitely think that we could use parts of our system at least our expertise, in selling online to help get something set up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Meryl McGuinness.
Just a comment, Alicia. Just brings back memories. I planned to get in this business about 25 years ago. I set up a pound at my wharf, and since that time, I know and prior to that, I've sold, 2,000 to 3,000 pounds minimum per year, cooked lobsters. And anyway, the word got out that I was cooking lobsters, and these Canada Food Inspection Agency came, and I thought I was going to be taken away in a straitjacket. By the end of the day, they totally shut me down. One of the things that was found in my facility was a dead lobster. You have to discard this lobster. I said, well, the next morning I'll bring it on the boat and I'll take it out and dump it. No, can't do that. Got to take it to the dump in Badek. Well, that's how extreme the regulations were 25 years ago, and I don't imagine they've relaxed a whole lot since then. So I still cook a lot of lobsters. Not so many this year, but on an average Saturday, I cook 100 to 150 pounds every Saturday, and I haven't noticed any time lately that anyone has fell over and poisoned me because the lobsters I've eaten or cooked. I'm sorry, but it's just something's got to be done with the regulations.
Yeah,
they have to be a little more lax than they are. I mean, I can understand there has to be safety.
Yeah, I think this is a really good time for us to push that, right? Particularly in fishing. Like, at this point, it seems to me anyway that the government is interested in, helping local businesses keep making money. There is a safe way to do it, and we just need some parameters around what that means. So, for an example, we don't want people cooking lobsters, selling them to people that are then going to drive around with them in their hot car for 7 hours, right? So there needs to be some,
Yeah.
that they are packed in ice or whatever, right? So I think that there is room that we could say, okay, what are the parameters? Like, let's, make sure that safety and regulation are two separate things, and let's have the safety conversation about what we need to do to make sure that that product is kept safe, and then build regulation around that, right? So, because you're right, now, some of the safety regulations aren't really about safety, they're more about regulation, like you can't throw a lobster back into the harbor where it just came out of and probably was going to die.
Well, this particular lobster was dead, but I wasn't allowed to take it back to the ocean. I had to take it to a landfill facility. But there's got to be some room for common sense in the whole system. that I haven't seen much of in the lobster business, but it's worth talking to. Maybe we can change things.
Yeah, and I think now that the foreign buyers aren't, well, we don't know exactly what will happen, but it looks like the demand is down. Then I think like the government has to do something to help with the local, like help increase local demand, and definitely getting lobsters cooked and into people's hands is the way to increase local demand, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you. Any other, and it may be a time to have that discussion, I agree. Any other questions or comments?
I have another, sorry.
Yes, Councillor MacLeod.
I have another question about, about the state. I'm just worried about just with the COVID-19. So you think we have only 7 producers doing Victoria County. Do you think, or you see in this year, might another or 2 producers will be join it and do more production?
Yeah.
How you see the market?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of people are talking about starting farming. People are talking about moving to our county to start farms. People are, just people that always grew like a small backyard garden are talking about getting into more serious production. So yeah, so I think that the other issue too is that, farmers markets probably are not going to be able to operate this year. So so we're kind of getting ready. We're getting an information package ready to give out to farms that typically sell through Bedeque Market, through Cape North Market, through Mabu markets, to try to help them get online and start making some sales that way too. But I think that definitely people are more interested in growing food, and people, I mean, I'm always talking to people that want to move to Cape Breton, always trying to get them to move here. Yeah, I think that because of this, I think a lot of people are taking a harder look at what does the future look like for businesses, and we know that there is a demand for food. There's definitely a demand for more locally sourced food. So I think the businesses will follow for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other? Sorry. Oh, that's the overheard. Jim Mustard, do you have, we'll give you the last minute if you have a quick comment, and we are running down into time here. So if you have a quick comment that you wish to make.
I think Warden Morrison, as Alicia says, this is a unique time, and a time that I think our ancestors wouldn't have questioned what was the thing to do in the spring. So that the Food Hub allows more producers to imagine producing more food. And as Councillor MacLeod says, maybe connecting the fisheries in right now. This is an opportune time for Cape Breton to be ahead of the curve. So thanks very much for your time, and appreciate that we've worked as an island on this together, and it's something we can all be proud of moving forward. So thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate your comments. And Alicia, just before we do in this. I mean, we've supported the hub for the last number of years, and traditionally you haven't asked. Did you have one this year? Or?
I do. So I do have a proposal into council for $15,000, which is the same amount as in previous years.
Okay, no, it's good. Not everybody's had the opportunity to see that, so I just want to make sure that it was asked for and reported. And as most of financial asks that are in, they are in our queue for having a look at next week or the week after. We've just been kind of tied up of late with some of the changes we had to make to our own budget because of the impacts of COVID, and make some adjustments accordingly. So we're probably just a couple of weeks later looking at those grants.
Yep.
And we're
Absolutely understand that.
yeah. So no, we appreciate that. Again, we want to thank you again for making your annual visit, and it's exciting that you're moving forward with it, and it looks good, looks better every year. So
That's right.
thank you, and Councillor Mustard as well.
Thank you very much. Have a great night,
Thanks so
everyone.
much, everyone.
All right.
Thank you, Alicia.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Alicia.
Sure.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Alicia.
So our next item up for business is, I don't have my agenda right here, is the minutes from the May 4th meeting. Those minutes were circulated to everyone electronically a week and a half ago. Are there any errors or omissions in those minutes?
Yeah. See some.
Sure.
Okay, it's main as typos, but my name have a in the end, like a last name.
Right.
And one of the districts, I think it was TR District 4, Merrill's don't have the number 4.
Okay.
And in the end, say appreciation and bread appreciation.
Right.
That's it.
Good eye. We'll make those correct.
I read them, yeah.
Right. Very good. So are there any other errors or omissions? Very good. We have motion to approve those minutes as circulated, please.
So moved.
Councillor Budge, and seconded by
Second.
out. All in favor? Contrary minded? Carried. The minutes are approved. Is there any old business coming out of those minutes?
Yeah, just a couple of things. So just to let you know, the DNR will be coming to the next council session, which I believe is June 1st, which is 2 weeks Monday.
Monday, yeah. Thursday.
Yeah, so DNR will be coming to that session. Related to spring cleanup, gloves and bags have arrived and they will be shipped to each counselor. They are being shipped. Gigi is looking after making arrangements to have them shipped to a location, and I believe Kelly will be in touch with each counselor to find out where you would like them dropped off. And then when the garbage has been picked up, you can also contact Kelly to let her know where the drop-off location is, so collections will stop and pick it up. So the items have arrived and they are on their way. Also related to, there was a concern on service stations down north at our last council session. I checked with Patrick. It was asked if we could have Cape Breton Partnership look into it. Patrick hasn't heard anything from any of them lately, but he's going to follow up with them. But he's been in touch with several different businesses and industries over the last several weeks. And as we all know, that the programs have been changing as the federal and provincial programs have been rolling out and adapting to needs. So it's possible that they may have gotten some help along with what's been offered now. So I'm just interested, I guess, to see if anybody else has heard anything lately. But no news would be good news related to that. And then also last meeting, we had a cost sharing agreement with TIR that there was a motion to have it approved, and Bruce and I have now signed that and we forwarded it off. So that was related to J class roads or K class roads or shared road agreements.
Thank you very much. Does anybody else have any other old business that came out of those minutes or previous minutes? Thank you very much. We're going to go on to new business and we will include new business CAO's report. So is there any new business that you wish to bring up this evening?
Yeah, so I'll just let you know how things are going with management and with staff. We have received some numbers related to collections. Collections have gotten a little rocky there over the last several weeks, but we seem to be back on track. Our numbers for the week of May 4th to the 8th were only 5 in total. And the week before that, which had a holiday in it, was at 59. So we seem to be getting back to where we should be related to rejection bags. Have department head meetings twice a week with different areas within the county, have Zoom calls with them. Just to let you know what's going on in tourism. Currently started today, our tourism is putting on a digital marketing and social media online course. It is going on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8 hours a week. There was originally 12 people signed up for it and another 7 that wanted to get into a second offering of it. And unfortunately, some of the people who had registered did not show up today. So I'm not sure exactly why, but we're going to reach out to them to see if they are still interested in taking it. Could be that businesses are starting up and they don't have time, or we're not exactly sure why, but we may be able to move some of those 7 who were waiting up to an earlier session so they could take it now. There is also a website planning and maintenance course that will be offered in June, and we're firming up the dates related to that. There was some interest in seeing if we could help with an emergency wage subsidy online learning tutorial. So one of the programs that the federal government is offering is this emergency wage subsidy, which has now been expanded until the end of August. And I think some businesses may have been having a bit of a struggle getting the form filled out. It's a certain template. So we have found a local bookkeeper who has been doing these now, has done it, and she has offered to, Tracy Campbell, she has offered to help and go online with anyone else that would be interested. So I think that's this Thursday that's going to be happening. She's going to take you through a real live demonstration of how to fill out the form. So if you know of any businesses that would be looking for that, please contact Dan because he is offering that, and that will be online as well. He has been meeting with ACOA on some projects that we're hoping to have happen. And just about the projects that have been released so far, the latest one is the Rural Relief Recovery Fund, and it is currently $55 million, I think. It's supposed to be for any of those businesses that have fallen through the cracks. And as I think we've all been hearing, a lot of the local businesses, which are seasonal, were falling through those cracks. So this would be a really good program for all of them, we feel, but not really all that optimistic that $55 million across all of Atlantic Canada is going to go very far. So we'll have to see if we can see if there could be some more help related to that or some other type of programming. In our recreation active living section, so Lydia has had a couple of online sessions related to recreation activities. She hosted one last week and nobody showed up at it. So if you know of anyone who is interested in any types of recreational activities, please look on our website because I think last week it was, I forget what she was doing, but this week maybe it's scrunchies, making scrunchies. So
Yeah, scrunchies.
yeah.
Sewing, yeah.
Yeah, so that might have been today's session, and she will be offering these and seeing if there's seeing if she can get some people to show up for them. She's also doing up some recreation kits, and they're being made available through her department and will be available across the county. They're for getting people out and active, different balls and different types of sports equipment in the bags. And you're supposed to rent them and then they'll send them back and they'll be sanitized and get them out to another group. So that is something that she is doing. She also is having a strategy committee related to her active living strategy, and that is being held this week as well. Patrick in economic development has been working with operators and businesses to navigate through all these programs. And I'm sure that you all know the programs keep changing day by day, which is great. And they're hopefully being adapted to where we need them, but they are, so he is helping several different businesses along the way. He is also working with Cape Smoky on some initiatives down there and hopefully getting some good news down there related to that area. Last week's was on nutrition that Lydia held, and people must be really nutritious already because that's the one nobody showed up at. In Alex's department, the virtual audit, first time ever, has happened or has started this week. So some of you, possibly you, Warden, you might get some questions related to audit questions, possibly. Also, there was a copy of the tax repayment plan draft that went around to all of you. We welcome your comments back that have been received, hoping that the latest copy that has gone out is an up-to-date one, because the quicker that we get it approved, the policy approved, the quicker we can put the portal in place for helping any taxpayers who may need some relief or help in making their payments of their property taxes. So I think if you can have a final look at the latest one and let us know by the end of this week, just so that we can have it at the next council session where we could approve that policy and get that going. The next step related to, and I believe that we're all on side, correct me if I'm wrong, in taking part in the province's offer of an operating line of credit that we can take advantage of, and then in turn turn around and offer microloans to anyone, to successful applicants who have applied to take part in the tax repayment plan. I'm assuming.
We approve that as a motion of council, I believe.
Yeah, okay, yeah, so we're just getting the details of it down now, okay. And then after that is done, then we'll have to do a temporary borrowing resolution and send that off to MFC. So there's a couple of steps. So at our next council session, I'm hoping that we can have a final of that policy approved. And also in Public Works, we had openings, or Saturdays was open for quasi heavy garbage so residents could go in with their items that couldn't be left curbside. The day started out quite hectic in Bedeque, at least. I think there was a half a kilometer of vehicles on the road at about 6 a.m. And then it went smoothly after that. So the word that I got back from staff out at Public Works was that all residents that came were obliging, everyone was polite, everyone knew what they had to do. It went really well. So we will be doing it again this Saturday. And then we're going to move into the next stage of opening up all of our facilities. So the results that came out of that, there was 100 people that visited the Bedak site on Saturday, and there was 51 that visited Dingwall. So it was good for, it went really well at both sites. Couple
Sorry,
of, yeah,
Just
sorry.
before you leave that, sorry, and you're probably open for questions after, but
Yeah.
when you say that you're looking at going into the next phase,
Yeah.
where that's not a weekly thing, that was just a one-off, or do you foresee it reopening those facilities again next week and the week after, or is that a decision you're going to discuss this week and then let us know?
Well, I discussed with department heads today. Our goal is that we will have our sites open, at least for staff, on June 1st. So 2 weeks time. And then possibly after that, a week after that, depending on how ready we are, they will be open to the public. Now, it might be a little bit different out at the transfer stations. They actually might be looking if they can safely have setups done out there. They might look to do some sort of soft opening prior to that. But I'm expecting that staff will be back in buildings following safety protocols June 1st, as long as the curve stays where it's at. And we seem to be doing quite well. So I think, and I've checked with other municipalities around, I've had conversations with others, and they are all planning on going back within the next 2 weeks as well. So I keep saying I don't want to be the first, but I certainly don't want to be the last. So we are planning on opening back up on June 1st.
Yeah, I guess the only reason I ask is because it's set up some expectations to people that did use it. You know, we heard positive
Yeah.
comment.
Yeah.
Result question. So I just think we have to do a little bit of communication of what the follow-up as a result of opening on the 16th would be.
Yeah, so because it went so well this week on the Saturday out at the transfer stations, we will be opening up again this Saturday and the following Saturday. So if that part will be continuing.
Oh, okay, so they will be open this Saturday.
They will. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Great.
And we're also going to do up possibly a little procedure of, or some better communication for people that will be visiting there on what to do once you get there. So possibly visit the scale, and the scale in Bedak, the scale will tell you where to go with your items, or stay back, or just some more information to ease people's anxiety for when they drive in so that they know exactly what it is to do. But everyone did great while they were there too. So, but yes, it will be open again this Saturday.
Great.
Also had a conversation with Bernie Visallo. They have a doctor coming, hoping to start in September down in New Haven. And we had conversations with him related to the home, the house that we had purchased down in Neils Harbor. And we had made a motion earlier, several councils back, that it would be used for, the first priority for it would be healthcare related. So Bernie is interested in going in and having the foundation going in and doing renovations to the home. We haven't done anything with it since we purchased it. And Bernie is hoping that if the foundation goes in and takes it over and we enter into a long-term lease related to it, then the foundation can put the doctor in there, the doctor and her family. So I'm developing I'm working with legal to get a long-term lease done up for that. So just so you know, that's really positive for that area down there. I've sent out my report to all of you, but just to let you know, related to council views. So we are getting some uptake on having our sessions online. There's been 83 views of the March 25th session. there was 400 views of the April 6th one. There was 8 views of April 20th, but 32 Facebook views. And on May 4th, our last one, there was 11 on YouTube and 39 live views on Facebook. So there could be at least 39 people following you outside. Just to let you know that we also had a meeting today with Jim Mustard, who was just on the call, related to Victoria County Transit. And Victoria County Transit is in the process of hiring a manager. And they have asked that since we are, since it's run out of Straight Area Transit, but it is Victoria County Transit, that we would have somebody, a representative on the hiring committee. He has sent me some correspondence related to that, and they are looking to see that somebody from the Victoria County Board be put on the hiring committee to hire this manager. And it is closing on May 25th, and they will shortlist and have interviews after that. So
Yeah. We had that conversation. I will be in the committee.
okay,
You can inform them.
great. Yep, will do. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Before we leave that, I probably would be a good idea that it be a motion to council that Councillor McLeod be appointed as representative of the interview committee for Straight Area Transit.
Okay.
So moved.
Moved by the Deputy Warden,
Second it.
seconded by Councillor McGuinness. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded?
Aye.
Motion carried. And Councillor McLeod is the chairman of Victoria County Transit Committee, so that's be a good fit.
And
Thanks.
last thing that I have, I don't know, I'm assuming everyone on this call knows this, but it was announced last week that council or elections will be going on in October. So we're not sure how that's going to look yet. We're not sure how campaigning is going to look, but there will be municipal elections in October 2020 this year. And that's all I have.
Thank you very much. And with those elections, I guess they are planned as of right now, and that could change at the state of emergency, but just to qualify that statement, just so it could change, but as of right now, as CAO has indicated, those elections are on as scheduled. Thank you very much for your report. Any questions for CAO? I'm going to move on to the budget.
There's
Oh,
a
I'm
couple-
Question,
We have two
for
questions.
discussion.
Councillor McGuinness, and then we're going to the Deputy Warden. So Councillor McGuinness and then the Deputy Warden.
I'm just wondering, was there a decision made on heavy garbage pickup?
Not yet. It looks like possibly it's going to be postponed until until the fall.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good. Thank you.
Deputy Warden, you had a question.
Yeah, just a follow-up for Leanne in regards to the election. I know before we've done partial online voting and stuff. Just like to start looking into that and seeing we may have to go with all online if things continue as they are, but might be a good time to start looking into online voting and telephone voting.
Yep. So HRM has just awarded their e-voting to, or they're in the process, their proposal is closed and they're in the process of awarding that, but they've also left a spot where any municipality within the province could take advantage of the prices that they got related to that. So yes, we are looking into that, and my guess is that they will be pushing for everything to be either telephone voting or e-voting. Paul had a question too, I think. Yeah.
It's not a question. It's and I don't even know whether it's kind of an update for broadband, whether it should be a new business here or the broadband committee.
Okay.
I've been getting a lot of phone calls lately people disgruntled over their internet connection and service. Develop Nova Scotia did send an update to all the councillors this past week, but it was mostly on projects for in mainland Nova Scotia. It didn't. I don't think there was any projects announced for Cape Breton or anything in that update.
Possibly Caledonia.
Yeah, possibly Caledonia. Yeah, exactly. I was in contact with representative from Seaside Communications. They are going ahead with a number of like to submit for projects to the CRTC/federal funding. Actually, that was delayed. They don't have to have their submissions in until the 6th of June now, I think. It was delayed. So they have projects throughout the county that they're submitting for. Also, they were in touch with the provincial representatives for fixed wireless projects throughout the county. So maybe we should ask after the 6th of June for the representatives from Seaside to make another presentation to council, if that would be possible.
Sure. Yep.
I was in contact with Alliant too, a representative from Alliant. They are submitting to CRTC for projects too. I don't know if they're as extensive as the Seaside projects, but they wouldn't elaborate very much. So, okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Sorry, as you may notice, I'm experiencing a little bit of trouble here with my iPad and I'm losing power for some unknown reason. However, having said that, we're going to move on to the added item on the agenda that was a budget issue.
Right. Okay. So we have had 4 budget meetings to date. Alex has sent out the latest budget draft as of today. The only thing that changed on it was there was a capital item which we didn't have spent as of last year. So it's moved to this year. So it's in and out, just one line from one to another. So based on that change and everything else staying equal, we are showing a total revenue of 12.8 million and total expenses of 12.8 million. That is with holding the tax rate as it is at $1.22 residential and $2.12 commercial for the 2021 year. So I am hoping that we could have a motion to approve approve budget for those numbers and for the budget that has been presented.
So you've heard the request and the information from the CAO. Do we have a motion to approve the budget?
I made the
I'd like to
motion.
move that we approve the budget for the next fiscal year.
Thank you.
2021, I assume. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. And our tax rates
And
are
the tax rates, $1.22 residential and $2 something, is it 2.12?
$2.12 and $1.22.
Yeah, 2.12 commercial.
Now, also related to that, we are moving our due date of our taxes due from COVID related from August 31st to September 30th for this year. So if that could be included in the motion.
okay. Are we okay with including that in the motion? Councillor Patterson?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have a seconder for that motion, please?
I second it.
Seconded by Councillor McNeil. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion is carried. The budget has been approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you. There was a lot of changes on that this year compared to other years and a lot of different things to think about. Alex did a lot of work on that.
All right, still continuing to have some issues here, so bear with me, please. I'm just going to get my taxation update, please.
Okay, sure. So as of today, we have 1.044 million outstanding with 597,000 in current and 447,000 in arrears. This is compared to 1.167 million outstanding this time last year. So that means that we are to the better by $123,000, which I know we were higher than that earlier in the year. And we were making great progress. However, COVID has hit and it is getting in as we are. I'm sure we're all going to feel that it's going to get worse as we go along. But we are 123,000 to the better this year over last year, 57,000 better in current and 66,000 better in arrears. So this gap is getting smaller from last year to this year. But we are still receiving payments and we are still processing those payments. Since our last council session, we've received 43,000 collected towards current and arrears. So, and again, we are encouraging anyone, if you can make your tax payments, make them, because it's not going to get any easier as we go out and there's next year's taxes and the years on top of that.
Yeah.
So we're just encouraging everyone to, if you're able to pay, please do.
Any questions in regards to taxation report this evening? Okay, thank you very much. It is 6 o'clock. We're going to take a 5-minute break and then reconvene at 6:05, please. Can you hear me, Paul?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, I don't know. I was losing charge where I was at. And it
Okay.
was down dangerously close, so I just moved back into the house.
Okay. Actually, this is going pretty well.
So Bruce, is it charging now?
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is. I'm back on the, but it was getting down to 10, and I knew it was going to happen halfway through. I'd lose everything. And I don't understand what it is, because every other, I was in the garage, it's all newly wired and everything, and all the lights and everything work. But when I plugged this charger into it, for some reason, it wouldn't charge.
Interesting.
Anyway, we're still broadcasting, as you know, so.
Yep.
Everybody will be back online shortly. So. So we're just waiting for everybody to come back. Everybody is back. Thank you very much. Thank you for that short break. So our next item up for council this evening is Department of Transportation issues or concerns. So we'll start with District Number 1, please. Councilor McNeil. You're on mute, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I have a couple. First of all, residents that paid for a ferry pass this past year in January, and other, like, people going across the ferry aren't being charged. So they paid for this ferry pass and they're not getting any benefit out of it. I'm wondering if we can send a letter to the minister. Will there be a rebate for people that purchased a ferry pass this past January? And either a rebate or some kind of a I guess it's a rebate on next year's pass. Also, I received a letter from Athol Grant about Murphy's Point Road and the development, TIR backing out of the initial agreement for maintaining the road. Is there a way we can arrange a meeting with, again, the TIR minister and the two land developers to see if the situation can be solved? Not many developers are willing to put money in the area. And when you have two willing to develop the area with the understanding that the road would be maintained and that was taken away from them, they're getting frustrated with it. And also patching throughout Washabuk, but especially from the church to the crossroads. Something has to be done with that road ASAP. And that's it. You're on mute, Bruce.
Thank you very much. We captured those items. We will put them on the list. We go to District Number 2.
And I just have a comment for my residents. Right now, TR is doing some spring maintenance. So if you have anybody need some issues in the road, just give me an email or a phone call. Other than that, no, I don't have any. Thanks.
Thank you very much. District number 4.
Well, I'm just wondering if I could get a picture of them ferry passes from district number 1, and we could pass them around our community here. That's the only evidence of the ferry we might see this year, by the sound of things. No ferry in Englishtown yet. I really, look, it's gone beyond all common sense, common good. There's been days that the water has been like a mill pond here. And, you know, I've called McColvich, I have to have a 10-hour window. Well, there's 24-hour windows here that the thing could have been pushed across here with a rowboat. It's just no sign of it here yet. And I don't know. And in the meantime, we have fishermen that come from various parts of Victoria County, as well as Cape Breton, CBRM. I'll have to go around the harbour every morning, 3 o'clock or whenever. Same going home. It just puts an extra effort in their day and for their crew and stuff. And I don't know what's the answer to we asked. I remember at one point asking for an inquiry into this whole thing, and I think they rejected the idea. And what right do they have to reject it? I think it's if the municipality wants to, or some level of government wants to make a request for what's going on in this operation. I mean, it's just ludicrous what's taking place here. In this day and age, there's this multi-million-dollar vessel sitting idle since the 10th day of November. We haven't had service since that time. So
I know we asked for an inquiry, but we haven't asked for the director of the ferry services to perhaps come down and meet with council. Maybe we'll ask him directly to come down, and then he can answer the questions face to face or virtually, whichever happens to be in force at the time.
Sounds good.
So if we'll ask that he come down and meet with council so we can have an opportunity to discuss these issues and the ones in Little Narrows as well.
Okay, that sounds good. We can start. Okay.
Anything else there?
Yes, there's a sinkhole at the Englishtown Wharf that I was made aware of as of yesterday. So maybe that could be looked at. It looks like a pretty substantial. I don't get to see it because the only people to see that hole there now is people from Englishtown. Because it's cut off from the rest of the world. So if they could pay attention to that, please.
Very good, not a problem.
Okay.
District number 5. Thank you, Councilor McGinnis. Councilor Patterson.
Thank you very much. Just one item. I got a call from a resident on the south side Bullitree. The civic address is 5123 Kemphead Road. Their culvert, you can't see it. It's completely plugged. And the ditch next to it goes for probably 20, 30, 40, 50 feet maybe. There's no ditch. It's all filled in. The whole thing is sick. So if there's any amount of water, it's going to cause major havoc for that homeowner or whatever. So if they could look into that, I'd appreciate it.
Thank you very much. That's it for District 5. We'll go to District 6.
Yes, thank you, Warden. Just want to echo Councillor McGinnis's comments on the ferry. Getting very frustrating for people north of Smoky. So yeah, if we can do something there to get John down, it would be greatly appreciated. But do understand where Councillor McGinnis is coming from. Second point, had a good conversation with Manager Steve McDonald today, so most of my items have been looked after. But one I did want to bring up at council is the Ferry Road in Ingonish Ferry. This road is in bad need of gravel. Last year they did grade it, but it's down to bedrock. So I'd like to put in the minutes that TRI addressed that road with some gravel and grading. It is one of the main roads used by the fishing community for that area. And that's it for TRR. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll go to District number 7. Councillor Budge.
Yes, thank you, Warden. The one problem I have are the side roads in Neils Harbor, New Haven. They need work, especially the Lighthouse Road, which is, fairly busy. All the fishermen use it, and the pavement is pretty well gone, and there's a lot of holes in it. So if they would do something, at least look at it.
Okay, thank you very much, Councillor. And we'll put that on the list. We'll move to district number 8.
Yes, thank you, Warden. Just a few things for TIR. There's a substantial amount of potholes in the district, but these are two very prominent potholes that are in the district. In South Harbour, just over around Civic 30019 past to Nina's Takeout. There was a couple of calls. Vehicles have received damage, so it needs immediate attention. If they could look into that, please, it'd be greatly appreciated. I was over through the district towards Bay St. Lawrence even before last, and the shoulder erosion all along from Bayrow Valley down into St. Margaret's Village. There was literally no shoulder for 1.5 kilometers. It's just water running down straight through, and this is something that's been asked of at past TIR councils. With respect, if they could look into that, it will be good because it needs immediate attention. And just wondering if and when the grader will be coming to the area, because full grading of roads in District 8, specifically down towards Dingwall where the Fisherman Government Wharf is, the road is just atrocious there, the gravel portion of it. And like it's the most traveled part of the road now with fishing season full go. And lastly, I was wondering if I could have a possible timeline or an update in regard to the Gaelic signage, because I still hadn't heard from Steve in regard to the provincial mapping system. And as we all know, we're late into spring now, and I really don't want it to turn into summer and then fall. And I'd like to try to get a timeline of when this project's going to start, because it's 2 years in the making. If I could have forward those concerns to TIR, it'd be greatly appreciated for District 8.
Thank you very much, Councillor. We'll put them on the list. And finally, just District 3. There's quite a bit of water damage done on Campbell Street from the rink down to the Shore Road. Serious ruts along the side of the road, which are not only a danger to traffic, but pedestrian traffic as well. So that's our update for TIR this evening. Can we have a motion to send that letter, or that list to Department of Transportation, please?
So move.
Okay.
Moved by Councillor Budge, seconded by
Seconded.
Councillor Patterson. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded?
Aye.
Motion is carried. It is complete. So we are going to move on next to, are there any notice of motions this evening? We're going to start with district concerns, and we'll start with district number 8. And I'm going to ask the deputy warden just to step in for a few minutes. I have to step out of the meeting for a sec.
No problem. Thank you, Warden.
Good.
Yes, Deputy Warden, I have just a few things. I was wondering if we could possibly do a follow-up with the Harbour Authority in regard to the road down in Dingwall where the causeway crosses past through the wharf there, the government wharf. I do believe we did look into it last year, and we come to the conclusion that it belongs to the federal government. That portion of the road is down to 1 lane now because it's washed out so bad. And I'm just wondering if we could get an update. Is work going to commence on that, or if there's any follow-up from that department? I don't know if you reach out to the Harbour Authority itself, or could we reach out to the federal side of that?
Maybe reach out to both. Norman, probably your best bet. If you want to make a motion that we send a letter to both the federal government and also to the Port Authority, and we'll see which one responds first.
Okay, I'd like to make that a motion, please.
Motion on the table. We have a seconder for that motion.
Second that.
Second by Councillor Budge.
I'll second it.
Second by
Aye.
Motion passed. Anything else, Councillor McDonald?
I just have two other items. I'd like to use $500 from my district budget in support of the North of Smoky Food Bank. That's $500 for that. And I'd also like to use $500 to support the Bay St. Lawrence Community Center Garden Project, which will be starting soon. I'd like to make a motion to have those two items taken from my District 8 budget, please.
Perfect. You have a motion on the table. Do we have a seconder for that motion?
Second.
Seconded by Councillor McNeil. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Motion passed. And if that's it for Councillor McDonald, we'll go on to Councillor Budge.
No, I have no other district concerns, only the roads, side roads. Thank you.
That's perfect. Thank you, Councillor Budge. We'll go on to Councillor McGinnis.
Well, just a sort of a concern within our district here and in my own community, and it's not unique to the North Shore, but for the whole county. With the dilemma happening in the fishery right now, our prices are down over 20%. Our catches are down close to 50%, and right now, as we speak, there are meetings taking place with buyers to maybe we're allowed to be put on trip limits, which just a certain amount each day, and that's all they're going to accommodate. And it's going to be. I think there's going to be tough days ahead. There's tough days happening right now, I'll tell you, and it's going to have a very adverse effect on our economy. I mean, there's a lot of employment provided by this fishery for the 2-month period, and to see a 20% drop in the price alone, and hopefully we're hoping that the catches will rebound when conditions allow, when the water warms up. We're hoping that it's going to be, but then again, the processing plants cannot accommodate. There was on last Friday, which was the first time it ever happened in my time. I've been in this racket for over 50 years. There was 3,700 boats set gear last Friday. The government, in their wisdom, for some reason, bumped everything ahead for the other seasons that ordinarily start May 1st, and made everyone set on the middle of May, which was last Friday. So it's becoming a critical situation. It really is. I mean, tourism I know is big, but fishery is, to me, it's, I think, number one for our municipality. And there's going to be repercussions for a long time after this year, the way things are looking right now. I just wanted to bring that out because it's a serious situation. Hopefully things will rebound down the road.
Thanks.
That's about it.
No, thanks very much, Councillor McGinnis. I think everyone understands the situation, and we're hoping for better days ahead. But you're right; it's going to be tough, and we got to keep an eye on it and see what we can do. I believe Warden Morrison is back. If so, I'll hand the reins back over to Warden Morrison.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate that, Deputy Warden. We're going to District 2.
Thank you, Warren. I have some concerns about the residents. One is about for the safety. They're talking about the safety of the county with the opening the cottage and summer houses. We see the Easter zone don't have any cases for a couple of weeks now. And I would like to address this to the province or Dr. Strain to have a consideration in the near future. So I would like just make the comment to them to, they're planning ahead for these months, take this from our county, our area, the Cape Breton. We see people coming from another province or sometimes overseas and have the summertime here. So just have that consideration.
Thank you very much, Counselor. Noted in the minutes.
Yep.
Anything-
We can send a letter, or it's just going to stay in the minutes? I would
If
like to send a letter to Dr. Strang. Where the team is, in the province looking after this.
If you have to put that in the form of a motion.
I would like the motion for send a letter to the minister or and Dr. Strang to consideration about this for Cape Breton. This is
need a
related to. Yeah,
sorry.
sorry.
We need a seconder for that.
I'll second that.
Second by Councilor McGinnis, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion is carried. Thank you. Sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you. Sorry. The another one is the COVID-19. A lot of things are happening and trying to figure out what we're going to do. Right now, with the residents have concern about the lack of commitment regarding the school and parents. Let me just. Then the noise was very bad. Yeah, so it's they're asking regarding the school and parents and students. I will ask council to send a letter to the Minister Churchill and copy with Keith Bain to address in the coming school year. They need to have a better system to work with the students. We don't know exactly we're going to have a school this year. And if their staff can start looking, I don't know, in Europe, they have some systems they are working right now. So just if they can start, we have the residents have worry about that. They don't see the commitment between the school with the students.
Okay.
So I would like to have that motion for the letter to the Minister of Education.
Do you have a second for that, please? A note to go to the Minister of Education.
I second.
Second by Councilor McNeil.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Aye.
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 Contrary minded,
Aye.
carried.
And the last, next month is Pride Month. I believe we bought the flag is purchased. I don't know. So I would like if the staff start looking at checking out what we can do virtual or something, and if the staff would like to contact me and we can do something for Pride Month.
Sure.
Yep. And that's it. And just remind the residents to practice social distancing, washing hands, and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you very much. District 5, I'm sorry. I overlooked you. I didn't mean that. But,
Yeah, just one thing to report. 2 gigantic machines have been up and down the Kemp Head Road. There's not a spruce tree in sight. You can see for miles. That's the first step, I believe. Then there'll be culverts and gravel on the shoulders, and then the asphalt. So I think it's really going to happen. Now, sorry about the ferry, but
So what drag you got there, mister?
very good. We'll put that in the TIR report as well, Councillor. So, any other districts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
just- I
Sorry,
got
District 1, before we go to District 1.
District
Sorry,
6.
Sorry, I stepped out for a second. I kind of lost my place. So anyway, we'll go to 6 and then to District 1. My apologies. Deputy Warden.
Thanks very much, Warden. Just one thing. I'm wondering if we could do a letter to one of my residents here by the name of Anne Claude Pepin. Anne Claude has been responsible the last couple of years of organizing the garbage cleanups of the ditches and roadways here in Victoria County, especially north of Smoky. Just like to make a motion that we send a letter of, recognition of her work and thanking her for all her hard work. And it's really starting to pay off. So I'd like to make that a motion.
Not a problem. Do we have a seconder for that, please?
Net.
Second. Second.
Seconded by Councilor McGinnis. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion is carried. Thank you, Deputy Warden. Anything else there, sir?
We're good this evening. Thank you, Warden.
Good, thank you. Sorry, District 1.
Yes, I got to upstage Councillor Patterson too. They're actually clearing the trees for the final section of the Gillis Point Road. So I forgot to mention that in the TIR report. Also, I'd like to recognize there's a couple of families in the area too. One down in Washabek area, they cleaned the ditches right from the church in Washabek right to Maskell's Harbor. And also a family that cleaned the ditches around Hector's Point in Iona. So if we could recognize the Davidson and the Franklin families. Thank you.
We can do that. Thank you very much. Do you want to put that in the form of a motion, please, so that we can send a letter out?
Yes, I'll make that in a motion too.
We have a seconder for that.
Second.
Second by Councilor McLeod. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion's carried. Two things from District 3, if I could, Deputy Warden. One is I circulated a letter that I received from resident District 5. It was also sent to Councillor Patterson as well, so he's aware of it as well. Just an inquiry about who is responsible for development along the Door Lakes and keeping separation distances from buildings and lane clearing, et cetera, all the issues that go along with development in close proximity to the lake. I wrote the individual back that I would bring it to council tonight and make a motion that we send his concerns to both the Eastern Nova Scotia Planning Commission and to the Nova Scotia Department of the Environment. So I'd like to make that a motion.
Let's second it.
Seconded on the table. The motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary
Second.
minded?
Oh, sorry. Thank you. The other issue is that many municipalities across the province now are coming up with their own charter, which allows them to allows municipalities to have quite a bit more freedom and be less restricted under the Municipal Government Act. So I think there is it is an option for us to look at so that we would have a little bit more say in what we can do in our municipality. I would like to make a motion that we ask CAO to pursue this and to see what our options can be. It may allow us to promote more development. It may allow us to do some other different things that we currently can't do. As mentioned, other municipalities have been successful in doing this and has encouraged development municipalities. I think it's something that we could look at and ask CAO to bring back a report to council once he gets enough information that is relevant to come back to council with a formal report. I'd like to make that motion.
Motion on the table, seconder.
Second it.
Second by Councilor McGinnis. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you very much. Those were the two items that I had for this evening. Are there, sorry, just getting my agenda up here again.
Mr. Warden?
Yes.
I just had an issue. I forgot to mention this. I had a request from a couple of businesses in my district, namely the Dancing Goat and the Dancing Moose, I'm sorry, and the Cluck and Hen Cafe.
Yes.
They're open on a takeout system here like last weekend, and they're requesting portable washrooms. Wonder if the county could accommodate. Apparently they don't want people in their establishments, and they were wondering if the county might be able to provide portable washrooms for a period until things maybe straighten out. Or I just thought I want to put it out there and see what other people's views were. I mean, but the way I see it, well, I think it might be a good idea, but it could sort of explode as well. I mean, if we do it for 2, we got to do it for all throughout the county, I would say. I don't know, what do people think?
I just wonder if before we get into that conversation, maybe we ask CAO to check with other municipalities to see if they had similar requests and how they dealt with it.
Okay.
Anybody else have any comments on that? Or Councillor McDonald had his hand up.
I had also received some inquiries with a couple of the local businesses, but the problem that arises there that there's no way to properly clean them per se. And with COVID restrictions, it's kind of up in the air there. So
Well,
we'll have
that's
to check that
yeah.
out.
I mean, that'd only be
It's something that's going to be needed.
it'd only be cleaned when they'd be pumped out. That's the only time that the company could cleans them, actually.
Exactly, and they've asked for you to bring it to council, and you have done so. So, Deputy Warden has his hand up.
Yeah, just a comment. I'm wondering if maybe we should pass it up to the Cape Breton Partnership, and Patrick, maybe the province has some kind of funding that might be available also, but just to make them aware, and there might be other avenues that we can follow.
That's a good point. Anybody else want to weigh in on this? Leanne, any thoughts?
I'm open to the idea of putting portable washrooms around at locations like we did last year, because our washrooms are not all fully up and running yet. But I'm not in agreement with putting them at every location so everyone has a washroom at each business that is open. I have not heard anything. So I had a call with other CAOs from Northern Nova Scotia. I've not heard of anyone doing this. I know that a concern that a lot of businesses are having is related to extra costs related to PPE that they're going to have when they are up and running. So I don't know if it is, I'm not sure if this extra cost is one that is specific for each business where the county should get involved. But I do know that we are interested in putting, I'm assuming you'd be interested in putting some porta potties up somewhere along the way. But again, it never crossed my mind the sanitation of them, like Norman brought up, related to COVID issues. So I don't have an answer to that one right now.
And maybe, as the Deputy Warden suggests, maybe if you want to touch base with the partnership and see if they've had similar requests. I know in CBRM they put up some washrooms for the homeless, and people that are challenged that way. So I'm not sure how that's been dealt with, but anyway, maybe if we'll just leave it and see what you come up with over the next week or so, and see what potentially could be an option, whether it's just locating them in areas as opposed to being at businesses similar to what we did last year. Assuming we can find somebody that will be responsible for the cleanliness of those washrooms.
Sounds
That
good to me. Yeah.
We're good. Councillor McLeod, did you have a?
Yeah, I don't think it will work for right now. With it now, it's a new normal, like I say, because the sanitation. How are you going to wash your hands? The next one is coming, and it's just going to be a mess there. So I think it will be more like the restaurants or the business can open and support with products to wash them, to have more control in that. Instead, they just put porta potties outside and come back for people touching. We want to avoid all that. So it's just my opinion. I don't think the porta potties will be a good idea to only think about it in this moment.
Yeah, there may be more. There'd be more touching in the door.
You don't have water running, so you don't wash your hands. And maybe like a partnership will maybe some funding for the business, and they can afford more products, PPAs or something in that with business. No putting porta potties. I think it's not the it's not clean enough.
Yeah,
My
and I
opinion,
think,
so.
I think that Dan in tourism is looking at creative ways to look at PPE or sanitation products for businesses. So that part is being looked at right now.
Thank you. It addresses some issues and creates others. That's what the reality.
Mhm.
All right, any other? We're good. Are there any committee reports this evening? None? Are there any bylaws? We have a couple of policy reviews, policies to approve.
Well, I think it's just the flag policy currently. I sent out a couple of other policies today, one related to the water and septic loan program, which is just really an amendment to a policy that is already in place by adding in the septic or loans related to septic systems. And we also had a policy related to virtual meetings which we're doing, but we never got approved. So I'm hoping that everyone could have a look at those. And if you have any comments on them, get them back to me by Friday, and then we can get them on the next council session for approval of those two policies. But I think the only one that we have right now is related to the flag policy.
Right, and if the on-site sewage one is an amendment, could we not approve that one tonight, or do you want to wait?
Okay. Nope,
Yeah.
that's totally up to yourselves.
Tis the season for that sort of issues to arise, and so are we okay with adding the on-site sewage as part of the water bylaw as well, where people can borrow up to a
Yes.
certain?
Awesome.
Sorry, Councilor McLeod, so could we have a
No,
motion?
I'm agree. Yeah, we made the
You're-
motion for approve the policy.
Okay, so we're going to approve both
Flag.
those, please. And we need a seconder. It's been moved by Councilor McLeod. Do we have a seconder, please?
Second.
Second by the deputy warden. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Very minded.
So
And the
which
third,
ones to be approved? Just what if it, which ones to be approved now?
with the flag policy, it's been approved, and the
On-site sewage septic.
On-site
we
sewage, okay. Just with the change that was made in the flag policy, I know the warden suggested how we could deal with paying for them or whatever. So maybe we'll have to kind of fine tune that a little bit. If residents or businesses want them, how
There
we
will be
can
a cost.
be
Yeah.
compensated for them. Yeah.
just if they will approve giving them the flag as long as they're willing to pay for them.
Right, and I think that the cost that we've ordered, the flags we've ordered were around the $80 mark for those
Yes.
ones.
Okay, thank you very much, and we'll leave the other policy as mentioned till next meeting. Is there any correspondence to come to council tonight?
I just have one. The rest of them have been sent out to council, but I do have one, and it was a letter that was received. It went to the Victoria County Trails Federation, just letting you know that there was an application that got sent into Nova Scotia Off-Highway Vehicle Infrastructure Fund, and they received a grant for $41,670 for phase 1 of the 5-phase trail development related to the multi-use trail.
Good for them. Good. That's good news.
Absolutely. Our next council is June 1st.
Well, it looks like June 1st is a
Monday.
Monday, which would be 13 days from today. So
Right.
that's probably a good time to have our next one. Currently, my thought is that we're still going to do Zoom sessions for them. We are still social distancing, even though we're going to be back in the building on June 1st, we will be social distancing related to that. And practicing using safe practices. So I don't know if getting everyone in one room, I'm not sure if we could have everyone 6 feet apart in the courtroom. So I'm assuming, but it's up to you. I'm assuming that we'll be holding that session virtually online, the same as this one. Is everyone open to that?
Yeah, and yeah, maybe, and if you get an opportunity to take a look at that room, I think there's potential there to keep us 6 feet apart. This is a good way of doing meetings, but it certainly doesn't replace the in-face meetings. So maybe if you take a look at that and see if there is a way that we can do it. It's a large room. It's a big building, so maybe even if we have some of the closer ones if they wish to attend. But anyway, you take a look at it. We'll follow whatever recommendation that you feel is appropriate and what council will decide. And is there anybody in the queue for presentations on June 1st?
The Cabot Trail Writers Fest was wanting to do June. And there may be one other, which I just can't think off the top of my head. So
DNR coming.
sorry, DNR, right. Yes, DNR is at the first session. Yes.
So online tonight, we had Mr. McNamara from CBC, and we said that we would allow a few minutes at the end of council should he have any questions. So I'm not sure.
He has now joined the meeting he's live in the meeting here with us.
Welcome,
Good
Adam.
evening, Council.
Can you hear us? Are you on?
I can. Can you guys hear me?
We can. So welcome to our virtual council meeting. I know that you have been sitting in on at least 2 others. So welcome to our meeting this evening. Do you have any questions that we can direct to whoever?
Exactly. Thank you, Council. Yes, this is Adam McNamara at CBC. Something that has been brought up at the last 2 meetings has been broadband internet. What are some of the challenges making this accessible to all districts, and which districts do you guys see the most challenges in?
I will refer that we have a broadband committee, and both Councillors McNeil and the Deputy Warden sit on that committee. And perhaps we'll refer to the Deputy Warden first and then to Councillor McNeil for their comments about those particular questions that you have. So Deputy Warden, please.
Thanks, Mr. McNamara, for the question. Yeah, broadband, the challenge, I guess, the biggest challenge is that we're in a very rural and remote areas in a lot of our county. Really is not cost efficient in a lot of cases to put broadband into the capacity that we'd like to have. So that's why it's so important that the CRTC and Development Nova Scotia have come up with funds to support this, and it's probably the only way it's going to happen. We've made great progress in the county here, and we're very optimistic that we're going to see some major changes in the next couple of years in the areas. Big areas infected are like the North Shore in Councillor McGuinness's area is probably one of the worst ones. Also down in Councillor McNeil's areas, and as you go north. So we've had some development with Bell Alliant being given the go-ahead to do upgrades to fiber to the home in the Dingwall area, which we hope is including Bay St. Lawrence, but we're waiting for confirmation on the actual areas. But again, the remoteness of the area is probably our biggest issue, but with the government programs, we're very optimistic that things are moving forward and hoping to see some major announcements like Paul had mentioned earlier in June.
Councillor McNeil, would you wish to comment?
Yeah, well, just to add, the infrastructure that we have now is getting very old, and it's basically copper wire going into all the houses, and with everybody working from home, it doesn't have the capacity right now. So we're looking forward to the funding from the provincial and the federal governments to see if there'll be upgrades throughout the county. There was already in Development Nova Scotia announced upgrades in the Bowundry area and I think Dingwall area. So hopefully in the near future, there'll be more announcements to come. Thank you. Thanks, Adam.
Thank you, councillors. I have one more question if you guys don't mind.
Sure.
Councillor McLeod, this might be one for you, if you or anybody else and others. Exactly what are you looking to ask Dr. Strang and the province to consider?
Hello, Adam. Just kind of information for him. Everything is focused in the main line. So we want to give us our feedback about in Cape Breton. We are a couple weeks now with no any cases. So there are all the cases around in mainland. So a lot of residents are concerns about, you know, we are not feeling in the how I can say in the picture, because we are maybe a small population, and mainland is more population there. So we just want to know, make sure that Cape Breton is different. So yeah, practically that. We have our the tourism, and it's coming in the summer. Our population got double sometimes, so that is a little scare for our residents. So we are getting very, very good right now, and we open summer homes, and will be maybe a little scary for them. That is only, yeah, there's a saying.
Thank you, Kel. Any other questions?
And that's
Adam?
it for me. That's it for me, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thanks again for joining our council this evening. I just want to correct that in regards to the water and issue, that's a bylaw, not a policy. So we'll just have to go through the correct policy with bylaws. And we'll make that correction, and we'll just send out a note of which process we're going to follow with that. So, any other questions? Any other comments? Okay, we will. Do we have any? When do we have a grant meeting? Has that been scheduled?
It has not been scheduled, so it will be, Alex will be scheduling it, but this week, as I mentioned before, she has the audit going on, and it's a virtual audit, and there's a lot of emailing and scanning and loading. So depending on how well this week goes, it could be next week or it could be the following week.
Okay, I know that we're starting to get some questions from some of the applicants, so.
Right.
All right, any other final comments or questions before we?
I
have a
move
motion?
we adjourn.
Thank you. We have a motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
See you June 1st.
Yeah.
See you June 1st. Thanks, guys.
Take
Thank
care.
Thank you.
Everyone,
Thank you.
Take care.
Hello.
thanks to our people who host the meeting for us. Thanks, Dan. Thanks,
Yeah,
Jocelyn.
thanks, man.
Thank you.